So, you want to become a successful actor, but you don't know where to start. Well, luckily, you came to this video, because I'm going to be talking about how to become a successful actor. At least through my experience. This is a disclaimer pretty much saying that this is my experience and my success, and that not everybody's success is going to be the same. This is just to give some helpful little tips about what you can do to help further your career. Well, now that that's out of the way, I have 5 things planned to talk about on how to become a successful actor. And starting off with number 1. So let's talk about practicing and building your craft. Getting the proper acting, singing, and dance training will enhance your performance and expand your opportunities. Agents and directors love seeing if you have a well-rounded skill set. Acting, singing, and dance classes help anyone be able to read and understand script formats or sheet music and can give you the dance skills needed for any production. These classes are supposed to prep you for the outside world and be comfortable on the stage or on any set. I mean, before the training, I'm pretty sure I used to just sing and not even act that well. And I mean, I'm pretty sure this is what it looked like. Look at me, can't you see? I'm fabulous, baby! And now with all the training that I've got from Rowan, I can make that look and even sound better because I'm fully understanding what the song is talking about. Look at me, can't you see? I'm fabulous, baby! I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure 2 is better. Even though I got my training at a university, you don't need to go to college for performing arts. Or even acting. You can find these classes anywhere around you. I mean, if you look up acting classes or dance class, whatever class you need, you can find millions, and I mean hundreds of classes that are around you that will provide you what you need. Now, I know some acting classes are pretty expensive to get to, but these people are professionals and they do know what they're talking about. But if you can't afford those acting classes, there's another way where you can get that type of training. You can always find videos on YouTube. YouTube is a great place where people are trying to benefit others by helping them out for free. The last thing I will have to say is to just be you. Do not try to imitate anybody else while you're trying to build your craft.
Oh God, even though I would be great for Jennifer Coolidge roles,
I'm not going to be Jennifer Coolidge because she's a living actress already doing this. Why would they want a second one? So just be yourself. That's what they want the most. Next up is creating a professional portfolio and making reels. And what I mean by professional portfolio is making a professional looking website. So starting off with video reels, it is very important to make video reels now, especially since after COVID, in-person auditions kind of fell off the face of the earth. Not that there isn't in-person auditions, there still are. It's just for most stuff like film, they want a video reel. But before you start recording for your video reels or video auditions, you need to have a good setup. I personally think that a good setup is a backdrop, a ring light, and a pretty good camera. I mean, I use my phone. Right now, I have a blue backdrop that I got from Amazon. I have a ring light from, I don't even know what company, but most ring lights are around $69. And I use my iPhone as a camera, and I think it works pretty well. I think it is very, very important that you look clear, that you sound clear, and that nothing is distracting in your recordings. Now, I do have a little bit of extra in my setup. I mean, here is my ring light that I have, and then my blue backdrop that's hung up by like some type of bar. And as you can see, I also have a microphone. This is a Neumann TLM 103, which is on more of the expensive side of microphones, I will say. So if you're not looking for an expensive microphone, or even if you don't want one, that is completely okay. But I do feel like it is important to say that having a microphone does give off a clear and quality sounding recording. So just a heads up for that. I also have foamies around my room, so then the sound doesn't echo back. My room has a lot of reverb, so I had to put up foam walls so that when I do record into my microphone, it doesn't have an echoey sound like it's hitting back at you. Now, I know what you might be saying next, but I don't have enough material to make a reel. I don't have enough performances recorded. You know, girl, that is nonsense. That is baloney. You've been Smeckledorfed.
We've been Smeckledorfed.
That's not even a word, and I agree with you.
That is absolutely nonsense. Nonsense. You can find anything on the internet that can qualify for your reel. You need a reel for acting, you can find scenes and monologues. You can find songs. If you're singing pop or something, there's probably an instrumental out there. Even with dance, you can find music that you can make a choreography to. You don't need to have a performance recorded. It can literally be anything at your own home. This is why we have this setup, so then you can perform anything. All that agents or directors or even casting agents want to see is just how you act, or how you sing, or how you dance. It's either or. Like, they just want to see you. And if that is a scene that I recorded on a backdrop, then that's it. They're still seeing what you can do. Once your scenes or like dances or songs are all recorded, then you can combine them into one reel, and huzzah! You have your reel. That's it. That's how easy it is. I will give a little tip though for your reel, and that is to have your best, or what you think is the best recording, first in your reel. After your reel is created, then you can create your website. Now, a website is a great way for directors, casters, even agents to really see who you are as a person and what you can bring to the table. Now, I do know that social media is the new way to really showcase what you got, but in a professional setting, it is a great idea to have a website. So, an example is my website. Here I have my headshots in the home page, and below it is some of my upcoming projects, so then anybody can see what I'm doing. I also have a tab about me, and it gives a little brief description of who I am and kind of like the vibes that I give. And below that are my socials. I do have a section for my resume and headshot, which is great to have because you should showcase whatever you got, even if it's some stuff from high school, because that's all that you got. That is completely okay. And then they can download my headshots over here. And I do have production photos of what I've been in, kind of just to show that I've actually been in stuff. I promise, guys, these are real. These are real. I promise they're real. But yeah, I have all these different productions, and some of these pictures can be a little silly looking, but I love each and every one of them. And over here is my Reels tab, which I have my musical theater and singing, acting, and voiceover demo reels. But below, I do have just single scenes, just in case if anybody doesn't want to watch the whole entire reel, they can click specifically on something that they want to watch. I don't know, maybe they want to just hear my Leve cover because they're looking for pop singers. And instead of searching through my whole entire singing reel, that might be easier for them. I just think it is a smart way to just show everything that you got to anyone. Last is my contact tab, which is if they want to contact me, they can. If not, that's cool too. They don't need to contact me through here. I also put down my phone number and Gmail, so it doesn't need to be too difficult. They have all access to interact with me. My overall point for this section is to just showcase yourself in a professional manner, and that is by creating reels and creating a website. Now here comes the fun part that I know you've been waiting for. Auditions! There are two ways where you can find auditions. One is casting websites, or as I like to call, pay to play. And the other is in-person auditions, where they're a little more hard to find, but if you look online, you'll most likely be able to find them. Starting off with casting websites, there are plenty of them. Here's one. Here's one. And here's some too. But today I'm mostly going to be talking about Backstage and Actors Access because those are the two that I have used. Starting off with Actors Access. Actors Access is the most known casting website out there. Even agents use this casting website. Actors Access doesn't only offer just auditions that you can find, they also offer other services like finding representation or even finding a script if you need to find one. I'm mostly going to be talking about their audition services. So overall, Actors Access is pretty good with their audition services. Once you plug in your information about like your eye color, your height, your hair color, they'll most likely suggest you auditions that are similar to your character type. Now they can't figure out what brand you are, so they don't know if you prefer comedy or if you prefer serious roles, but overall, by look, they should be able to help you out, which is one thing I do like about Actors Access. Now, to get an Actors Access profile, you have to pay $68 for their casting services. There is an additional cost for videos, which is a little bit of a bummer. Each video is worth $22 per minute, so be careful of what videos you choose. I would not recommend a whole reel. Most of the time on Actors Access, they just want one single scene or monologue, and that is it. So I will say that you should have at least a comedic monologue, a dramatic monologue, and if you're a singer, maybe a few songs. What I have is a dramatic monologue, a comedic monologue, and my song reel, because my song reel is generally short in time, and it shows a variety of different songs that I can sing very well. You should also want to get a slate shot. Now, Actors Access offers these little tiny videos called slate shots, and you put them before your main video that you already paid for. Now, slate shots also cost money. I believe they're $15 per slate shot, but you do get your first one free. Actors Access does have this 4-level positioning whenever it comes to the casting agent seeing your audition. Now, you want to be at the first position, which is a slate shot, your video, and your headshot. And if you have less than that, that is okay, but just be known that you're not going to be one of the first ones seen, and even seen at all. They could cast a role before they even see your audition. Another thing about Actors Access that's a little bit of a pain is that you have to rewrite your whole entire resume into their own system that they have. So that means rewriting your credentials, your education, even what awards you have. You all have to retype it down. Actors Access overall is reliable. I have gotten 3 callbacks out of the 103 auditions that I sent for, which is pretty normal for a casting website. Honestly, I think it's pretty well, because there are people online saying that they have submitted to 400 things and only got casted into 3 out of all the 400 auditions that they sent for, which is completely normal. Moving on to Backstage. Now, Backstage is similar to Actors Access, except that you're not paying for each video that you put on there. You're paying fully up front for all their services. So Backstage costs around $200, which is very expensive, but again, you get free videos and you get all the different services that Actors Access pretty much has, except for finding the scripts, and that's pretty much it. They don't offer you scripts. One bummer about Backstage is that they don't give you suggested roles, so you have to read the description. And I say this with all of my heart. Please, 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 please read the description, because you can't be sending in for something that you are not qualified to send in for. For example, I am a white 21-year-old woman. I should not be submitting for a Hispanic 45-year-old woman. That just means I didn't read the description, nor did I take the time to care about what the production was about. So please read what the production is about, what the characters are, and to really decide if you are truly right for that role. This is what my Backstage profile looks like. I got my 3 different headshots. I got a little bit about me, my resume, and I have multiple different videos, some being my reels, other being just individual videos that I have for auditions. For example, I know this one monologue from Midnight Mass is a very good monologue for serious or like horror films, so I just specifically just send in that like video only. But overall, you can add as much as you want on Backstage because you don't need to pay for it. You already did up front. I will also say that Backstage is a reliable website. I sent in for 39 different auditions throughout my 3 years that I've been in college on Backstage, and I got 7 callbacks and 2 I got casted for. Yeah, those 2 were student films, but they are still credits. And credits are credits, alright? You know what? An agent will take anything as long as you're getting booked. Moving on to in-person auditions. In-person auditions are a little different than the online ones that I was talking about. The way that I found my audition when I went in person was through Royal Caribbean's website. Most of the time, companies or even directors might post something about auditions that they're doing, and if there's an open call, and in that open call, they'll normally list where it's at and what time. So that's how you find in-person auditions. When I was talking to other people about in-person auditions, they normally said that they would have to be waiting outside for 2 to even 6 hours before they went in. And sometimes they didn't even get to audition. They just waited to not even audition. That's how crazy in-person auditions are. So, rule number 1 is to get there early. Another thing about in-person auditions is to always prep your materials. You can only do your audition once. You can't do it like 5 million times on the camera. You have one try. So prep for that audition. My first ever in-person audition in the city was for Mamma Mia for the Royal Caribbean Cruise. And I'm going to show you a little section of what I dealt with during my time on this audition, so you can get a vibe of what it's going to be like for when you do it. First off, I woke up at the butt crack of dawn to get there as early as possible, knowing that my slot isn't going to be secure. I am non-union, meaning that I'm not supported by AEA or any type of union like SAG-AFTRA. I am by myself. I also don't have representation, so I could not get an appointment slot for this audition. When you can't get an appointment slot, that means you have to wait in a line like everybody else to be seen. And sometimes you may not be seen at all. So when I went, I got on this train, Penn Station. Oh, I got on Penn Station at 5 in the morning on a rickety old train. I swear, look at this fake mahogany wood. For this audition, I did go with my dad for the first time, just so that I felt a little safer. You know, it's good to go with somebody instead of by yourself first for auditions, because, you don't know, maybe you just need a friend to make sure that you are okay. We started walking down to the building, and there she is, 5:19. I sit in this line, and keep in mind, it's like 6 in the morning now. I sit in this line for 2 hours. With a few people, I started talking to friends in the lobby. You know, I started meeting people saying, like, how long they'd done this for. And there were people there who said that they have been doing it for years. And, like, again, non-union, and they still got in. So it is possible to do it without an agent or without being a part of the union. But anyway, I finally get upstairs after riding the elevator all squished. And then I see the sign. And the sign said The Outsiders Broadway. Oh God. My reaction when I saw that, I was like, what is that? Literally, girl went, "Don't do it. Don't do it." I was at the wrong building. Now, Pearl Studios has 2 different buildings. One is at 519 and the other is at 500. And you can guess, my audition was at 500. I was so mad. I just passed that building. Are you kidding me? So then after I run downstairs, I told my dad, I was like, we gotta go to 500 right now. So I get to 500, and you guessed it, there is a line. And not just any line, it's kind of a long line. So I started to get a little worried because of my mess up, and I wasn't going to do the Outsiders audition, alright? Because I was not prepared for that. But I still get through, and I go upstairs. Once I got upstairs, I was taken into this tiny little dance studio where everybody who was ahead of me started like doing a little snail rotation around the room. Like, it was crowded. But they finally brought in this sign-in sheet, and they were telling everybody, hey guys, we gotta sign in. And no rules, everybody just starts pushing up there. No one cares about an order. And that is one thing you have to keep in mind about in-person auditions. It's that nobody cares about what position you're in. They just want to be seen just as much as you. So yeah, there were people who were behind me that were pushing in front, and I was like, oh no, we are not playing this game. So I start pushing too. And I start signing my name, and the slot is number 32. Already, I'm a little bit panicking because knowing that not everybody's gonna be seen scared me. But once everybody signed in there, they were like, okay guys, you gotta like head out because we have these appointment auditions and they aren't gonna be done till 11:30 and you have so much time and we just don't want to hear the noise. So if you can come back later at that time, that would be great. So then me and my dad left for a little bit. We got lunch and we saw this record shop. I started record shopping and I got back 30 minutes early. I will say with these auditions, if they tell you to leave the building, to be back early, because when I got back, there were already 50 people there and I was 30 minutes early. Not only that, I saw the list of people. There was a little over 250 people doing this Royal Caribbean Cruise audition. That is insane. Another thing about Pearl Studios that I would like to say is that there's auditions there every single day. So you can just walk in and be like, yeah, no, I'm good for that audition. I can sing Part of Your World for Ariel, and just walk in and do it. So if you do want to do in-person auditions, and if you like that better, then go to Pearl Studios, because they have it. Anyway, back on track. Then they start naming the people to go in to do the dance. and they only listed the first 100. Luckily for me, I was number 32, so I got to go and dance. But the rest of the 150 so people had to leave. And I was just thinking, if I got to the building any later, I would have had to go home. So I will say this again. Go there early. You will get a slot if you go there early. And sometimes people have to wait out there at 5 in the morning. So I was the first round to dance. They did 40, 40, and 20. That's how they split up these dance auditions. And they only gave you 10 minutes to learn the combination and do it. See, if you've ever auditioned at community theaters around you, you know that most of the time they make you sit in a zigzag line whenever you do the dance. But for this audition, they had everybody line up in a line and you did the dance individually by yourself. So pretty much saying, all eyes on you. If you can't do it, we won't cast you. Harsh, but I get it. So when it came up to my turn to do the dance, I actually did it really well. I was very proud of myself. I even did a double pirouette. And knowing myself, I normally can't do that. But once everybody was done dancing, they only selected 7 people out of that 40 group to go. And I wasn't one of them. But that's okay. One of the girls that I was talking to there, I have her snap, she's cool. She did get to go further on. And I later texted her a week after that audition to see if she got in, and she did not, but she did say that she had a great time. And that's all that matters with auditions. If you're showing that you had a good time and you're trying your very best. I will say that for me, in-person auditions are just a tad bit better, only because they can see who I am and I can physically express myself right in front of them. But both audition processes are still hard work, and it takes a lot of time in your day. I will say, if you're going in person, find another audition to do. Because most likely there is another audition going on in the city that you're doing it for, and just go find another one. Because you're going to be there all day. And if you get let go earlier, great. You know what, maybe I should have gone back and done The Outsiders. Now, auditioning for an agent is a little different than auditioning for a show. They want a little bit more than what a show production would want. So that's where the reels come in, because those are really important. They showcase all that you can do, and that's what agents want to see. Most of the time when auditioning for an agent, every single time that I submitted, they would always ask, like, hey, you kind of need a little bit more on your resume. Before you audition for representation, I would say have some credits that are named roles that are on there, because my rejections were because I didn't have enough named roles on my resume. But overall, it's kind of close to the same. It's just talking a little more about yourself and why they need you. I will say that auditions take a lot of work, and it's going to be frustrating because you're going to see a lot of rejections before you even get one acceptance. But if you truly, truly, truly want to do this job, it's what you signed up for. It's going to take that amount of time. Now this next section is talking about connections. Having connections is very important. It could be either a friend that knows other connections, or it could just be that you want to be friends with them because they could land further roles and you might ask advice or help from them. And that comes to my next pointer, to not be afraid to ask for advice. If you have a good friendship with these people, why wouldn't they want to help you in return? If you need help with an audition, or if you just want to have a few pointers from somebody who has done it longer than you, it's totally okay to ask for their help, especially if you help them in return. Another thing is, when you're in a production, always make friends with every single cast member, because you don't know, You might need them later. One big thing about connections is to keep communicating with them. Communication is key. If you stop talking to them or stop communicating at all, they might think that you just don't want to talk anymore, and that leaves you out on some connections in the future. Another thing is that there could be a situation that is uncomfortable with a connection or a friend. Whenever conflicts like this come up, you should just always be respectful and still state your opinion, even if you disagree, because neither side is right or wrong. Even if there is conflict at the moment, if you still respect them and even support what they do, they'll come back and support you too. The worst thing you can do is to stop all communications. Once that stops, you lost them for good. So with connections, just keep everybody posted. And finally, my last point is about self-marketing. Self-marketing is very important because it showcases on all platforms who you are and why you are different than others. Like, girl, you're talented, why aren't you showing it? With self-marketing, it can happen in two different ways. Through emails, you can self-market on who you are, why you're fun, and why they just need you in general. But my favorite way of self-marketing is through social media. Are you funny? Create some comedy skits. People love it. Or do you like singing pop music? Cool, create a nice fun cover that is in your style and make it a little different, jazz it up. Another thing about self-marketing on social media is to just always be public. I know being public isn't always the best in situations, but for this situation, you want people to see you. Who knows, maybe even an agent or a director is seeing your work on social media. Personally, on social media, I like posting about what I'm doing, show-wise. It could be like right now, I'm going to be posting about Sister Act and me being in that. I also like posting myself singing because I know I have a beautiful singing voice and I want other people to hear that. I'm also going to be uploading some new comedy sketches because I know I'm a funny gal. But the thing about social media marketing is that you have to be consistent. You have to keep on updating because you don't want to fall off the face of the earth. You don't want to be like, oh wow, yeah, she's really cool, and then haven't posted in like 3 months and then people forget about you. Another thing I like to note is that directors are currently seeing social media presence as a must in casting, so being consistent in posting of what talent you got and what you can bring to the table will automatically be better for casting. Don't be afraid to share who you are. I mean, you're gonna do it on stage or on a set, so why not do it on social media too? So, here are some of my final notes. Note number 1, anybody can be an actor. It doesn't matter where you live. You can live in the city like New York or LA, or you can live like me in New Jersey. It doesn't matter. As long as you put in the effort and you train hard enough, you can be an actor. Note number 2, there is no guide to really be successful. This whole entire video is just how my success has been. And yeah, there are some great tips that you can take, but maybe this isn't your path, and your path could be different to your success. And finally, note number 3. What I will say is that to be successful, you have to put the work in. This is not an easy career, and it is not an easy task. It is like a job, and it should be treated like a job. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to cost a lot of money. And yes, it's going to take a lot of effort. But I promise if you put it in, you'll get somewhere. Thank you for watching, guys. Oh, you guys are so fun. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye. Are you still here? Oh, wow. Are you gone? What are you still doing here? Get out of here, you silly goose. Get out.
Bye.